Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Sorry for the slight hiccup this morning. My kid woke up with a bloody nose. I had to go change her shirt. I was like, damn it. Anyways, let's see who's here in the house, and then we'll get into this. Mr. Crypto Craig, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Crypto KJ, my man. We have Duke Nukem, Vinny. Good to see you. Ninja Kid. Let's see. I need my BTC 56. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Backwards Miner, Mr. Leo Lustig. Good to see you, buddy. Congrats on the AL Box 2 hash rate today. I'm actually going to be popping over to, man, I forget his name. There's a coyote logo. I forget his full name. Damn it. Well, he's going after you today. 10 o'clock. I'm going to be swapping it over. Let's see. Backwards Miner, Black Hat Team. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Who else? Luke, my man Luke. I haven't seen you in a minute. Hopefully you're doing well. Everybody else I may have missed, I apologize, but we need to get into this. Let's do it. Bitcoin $59,710, so $722 now. We have Ethereum at $25.32, Solana $140. We got XRP at 56 cents, ADA is at 35 cents. If anybody cares, that is a sleeper in my opinion. We have Caspa almost 17 cents, 16.8 to be exact. We have LTC at 63.77, also another decent buy in my opinion. ETC's at 18.61. Let's see, we get Dogecoin at a little over 10 cents. Shiba and Pepe are down today. Floki's down a lot today. Let's see, BNB is at 543 bucks. BCH, I'm actually still solo mining BCH on my S19K Pro, and I have not hit a block yet. It's been a little over a week at this point. But 326 bucks if anybody cares. BCH, nothing else really jumping out at me. Near actually is down quite a bit, 5.46%. I got some just at like 390 the other day, and yeah, I should have took profits, but I was just leaving it because I think it's pretty low as it is. I might purchase some more though. All right, crypto bubbles, let's see. Floki is down quite a bit, again 17.2% today. That's a big oof for anybody. We have Render down 7.3%. What the heck? I'm glad I didn't buy into Render yet. I need to get some more of that though. $5.24. Crazy. Solana's down 3.7%. We have Popcat down 9.9. Again, Near's down about 6%. We have Fetch AI over here down 7.5%. This is, they changed the name, ASI Alliance. I don't know. I don't know why. This Dogs coin, this is the meme coin on the TON network, if I'm not mistaken. 9.1% down today, ranked 93rd now instead of like in the 70s. HNT is down 7.8 today. Crazy. Right here, BitTensor, we got 281 bucks. Again, if anybody's buying this, let me know where to buy it. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Nothing else really jumping out at me. I guess Celestia is down 5.9, Bonk's down 4.5. Anybody cares? All right, moving on. Fear and Greed Index, flashbang. Here we go. We got 34 on the Fear and Greed. This is exactly how it was last week. This is good though. We need the needle to stay around this area, in my opinion. Just kind of teeter in the middle. This is what we want. We want to reset this market because Bitcoin's having a rough time right now. But we need to get a good base before we can lift off. Let's see. All right, trending coins. Simon's Cat 13% down. Xano is actually up 3.9%. Xano's been killing it for GPU mining, at least on hashrate.no. Pepe Fork, don't know what this is. It's up 12.3% if anybody cares. All right, top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lotto Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Tron Coin in 10th place. Looks like Ton Coin got sorry, I meant to say Tron. I said Tron Coin. Ton Coin got kicked out of top 10. He's in 11th place as of now at a $13.7 billion market cap. Tron is at a 13.9. Cardano is in 12th place at a 12.5. So it's still got a little bit of catching up to do, but hopefully that gets back into the top 10. All right, let's see. Anybody cares about anything? Bitcoin Cash has $6.4 billion market cap. I really wonder, I'm pretty sure the block reward's the same as Bitcoin on this one. So I should get a decent payout. I think I have like 1 out of 7 chance per month or something to hit a block on the S19K. So I was like, you know what, it's worth the gamble for me. We'll try it. Near Protocol again is at 24th place at a $4.6 billion market cap. I think that's going to be a good one in the bull run. Caspa 0.16 cents, right? It's 1687 if I could speak correctly today. A $4.1 billion market cap. I think Caspa is still gearing up to do some good things. I guess we're gonna have to see, right? Kraken should be coming for that real soon, hopefully, at least by the end of the year, they said. Ethereum Classic in 37th place, $18.54 at a $2.7 billion market cap. Yeah, nothing else I really care about. I guess Renders at a $2 billion market cap. Not too bad. Could be worse, but could be better. All right, let's move on to the mining segment of things. We're gonna get into some news stuff today. We got the Bitmain Antminer AL1 Pro 16.6 terahash unit over here making $275 a day. For how long?
Perfect.
Probably not that long. AL1 15.6 terahash unit over here making $259 a day. Again, this at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Real quick, jumping over to miningpoolstats.stream. It looks like they're doing another round of testing over here for the second batch getting shipped out, or maybe they're just continuing the first batch, but this shit popped back up. This is at 2.79 petahashes now. We were over 4 again not too long ago, and you guys know Tuesday we were actually same position testing. Kind of crazy. So we're gonna have to see what's going on with this. AL1s are shipping this week. Yeah, they got to get all their addresses in here so they can mine to their own wallets. When you boobs just plug them in and don't change anything. Man, you know, you got to think about it, right? It's like if everybody plugs it in for like 10 minutes or something and doesn't change anything, they just want to see the wattage and all that shit. I mean, it's got to be a decent amount of money they rack up on those, you know. The Bitmain KS5 Pro over here, Caspa miner, 21 terahashes, making 2462 a day. We got the KS5 20 terahash unit making 2345. The Antminer L9 16 gigahash unit making 1762. The AL Box 2 plus 1 terahash unit making $16 a day, pretty much even. The KS5 M 15 terahash unit making 1483. Again, all this is at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. We got the DG1 plus 14 gigahashes over here making $13 a day. I wonder if they're going to change or add bells to this to show with triple mining. I don't know, we'll see. I guess the Gold Shell AL Box 2, you guys know I got this thing in the solar trailer. Shout out to Gold Shell, 720 gigahashes making 1149 a day. Let's see, the iPolo G1 seems to be pretty profitable. It's kind of crazy. Does anybody have one of these? $10.81 a day. It's 126 hashes. Is that how you say that? Just hashes? Weird. Yeah, I don't know anything about this coin. Mimblewimble. I don't know. It's like an OG meme coin, I guess. Is that what it is? Bells is a pool thing, not device specific. Crypto Mikkel. Okay, that makes sense. They probably won't add it then. Okay. Yep, totally makes sense. Let's see. All right, the KS5L, we got 12 terahashes over here making $10.23 a day. Let me scroll down a bit to the L79050. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them if you want 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Links in the description. This is my unit right here. I'm making $6.31 a day as of right now. Again, this unit's been profitable the entire bear market. It's crazy. I just can't run it here because 30 cents per kilowatt hour. I mean, I can now on solar, but it's just, yeah, it would take up the whole solar thing. Doesn't make sense. The Gold Shell AL box over here, the original 360 gigahashes, make it $5.75 a day. Like, see, this still isn't bad for 180 watts. Like, make it $5 a day. It's pretty good, right? And again, this is profit, so it's almost $6 a day. But it's probably not gonna last. It's definitely not gonna last. It's gonna turn into the KS0 for sure. It's my opinion. That is what I believe. I believe that's going to turn into the KS0, unfortunately. Let's see. The X16P, I actually tested this thing from Jingle Mining, 5.8 gigahashes. We have $4 a day on that thing right now. ETC needs to do something because that price is awful. Look at this, the X16Q. This thing, you guys remember when these came out and they were stupid efficient? 1.95 gigahashes, almost 2 gigahashes. They're making $1.44 a day. It's crazy. This thing was killing it. We need, if ETC pumps back up, it might be like a huge saving grace for a lot of miners and all their stuff. Let's see. Oh my god, 4. What are you saying, 4? I'm not sure what that's regarding to. Nismo. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, please at me in the chat. Let me see. Dave Jack, I'm looking. I'm looking. What did you tell me to look at? Just post it again because I don't see it. Hold on. I don't see it. Post it again. Sorry. Oh, you know what? I can click on your name now. I forgot they have this. I can go to channel activity. Yeah, I don't see anything. What the hell? Oh, if it was whiskey in the mug, it's still an Irish coffee. No, dude, I hate whiskey. Whiskey's gross. It tastes like dirty socks. I can't do it. No thanks. There's always that one booze that people don't like. Mine's whiskey. I can't. Ugh, so gross. All right, anyways, I just for a KS0 Ultra 400 gigahashes over here. We got 37 cents a day. Bruh. That's terrible. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna search ES19K because that's somewhere in the negative. But this is why I am solo mining BCH on it. Hopes to hit a block because it's like 1,200 bucks to hit a block, right? 120 terahashes. I am losing at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, $1.15 a day. Bruh. So terrible. Oh god. All right, we're gonna delete that. Then we're gonna move on to the GPUs and see what we got. Oh, that's CPUs. Anyways, looking over here, Zealous top of the charts, the 170HX, and then Xano Nexa also on the top of the charts. That is pretty much the consensus all the way down. We got a little bit of Ironfish and Graham, Firo, if anybody cares about that project. Yeah, Xano seems to be the winner today on all your cards. Crazy. Xano's been doing nuts though. Again, it's a trending coin. Still here? Let's click on it. Last 7 days it's been climbing from under $4 to over 5 now at this point. Interesting. Again, I still haven't looked into this project, but I need to figure out what the hell's going on there. CPUs real quick. Let's see. We got nice hash stuff in this SPR coin. Still don't know what it is. But you know what's interesting? Sorry, flashbang. We got my man Dave actually sent this to me this morning. Administrative costs over a nice hash. Like, what the hell is this? Due to our team's increased and repeated workload, additional costs may be incurred, whether through intentional or negligent actions. You may receive a bill for the following: KYC, know your customer, repeated failed attempts or KYC request by admin, 2FA lost of backup code, or the wrong incorrect transactions, wrong blockchain or blockchain recovery, wrong deposit, missing tag, memo ID, or wallet is no longer valid, wrong deposit address, incorrect withdrawal address, withdrawal third-party provider who rejects transactions and returns funds to NiceHash wallet. Like, bro, they're sniffing you. But look at this: wrong blockchain, 100 USD. If you are that stupid, you get charged $100. They're like, hey, you're dumb and you're also getting fined, so you. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Incorrect withdrawal address, 20 USD. Wrong deposit address, 20 USD. Don't put it in wrong because we're going to charge you $20 for it. Wrong deposit address, 2 years plus depreciated address. This is $100 USD.
Stop the cap.
What the fuck is going on? What is going on with NiceHash right now? Well, they're charging people to do to exist, to do what you're supposed to do, and why you get paid. Like, what? It's stupid. So stupid. I've never supported NiceHash and I never will. All right, market views Nvidia incremental raises as less impressive, says Deepwater's Gene Munster. Let's get into the news of the day. Guys, that like button, appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
A little bit deeper directly into the Nvidia story and AI in general. Now, Nvidia, as you heard, fell today, and it took down some other semiconductor stocks with it. But Nvidia's numbers were huge. So why didn't the stock respond in a positive way? Let's find out more. Bring in fast money friend Gene Munster, managing partner at Deepwater Asset Management. It's a good question. The numbers were good, the guidance were good, but apparently the market wanted great, not just good.
You know, Brian, I'm a big believer when you start explaining you're losing, and I run the risk of explaining here today. So my perspective was, I think the market is viewing this exactly like Guy laid out, is that the incremental raises are getting less impressive. In fact, if you look at the guidance, it was up 2.5% from where the street was expecting for October. They guided up 5.2% back when they guided the July quarter. So you see that deceleration. But I think there's an important piece that can be missed here, which is it was very clear that Blackwell shifted from the October to the January quarter. And very few analysts made any adjustments to their numbers as that was being rumored. So if you look at the guidance on an apples-to-apples basis and bring in the several billion in revenue that Jensen outlined for the first quarter when Blackwell ramps, it's now in the January quarter, but bring that back to the October quarter, they raised guidance by 12%, and that would have been an acceleration. So again, I'm explaining, I think the market is just viewing this as taking a breather, wanting more, but they're going to get more when it comes to that January quarter. I expect that's going to be a blowout.
You heard, first off, you gave Guy a nice compliment, which is wonderful and well-deserved, but you also probably heard what he said, which is that, is this the start of something in a bad way? And, stocks can turn. First off, NVIDIA hasn't really made any money in 2 months. I know it's only 2 months, but still, stocks can turn quickly. I mean, you have these kinds of numbers, these kind of beats, and this kind of forecast, and we don't see positive price action. Do you think this could be, to Guy's point, kind of the start of investors not losing confidence in NVIDIA, but maybe traders losing confidence in NVIDIA as a tradable stock?
I think we still have 2 great years left of NVIDIA. Deepwater, we own the stock. The reason why we own it is that we believe that to get to general intelligence and eventually super intelligence, the scaling laws in tech are going to hold. And the scaling laws are to increase compute, you have to put more hardware and data at it. And if that's the case, if you believe that in order to reach general and super intelligence, the scaling laws will hold, NVIDIA is going to have an outside benefit to that. And I think we're still very early in this trade. We talked, some of the traders talked earlier about kind of this AI trade getting long in the tooth. And I think it's really healthy for an AI trade. I'm in the camp that 3 to 5 year bull market that's going to be powered by AI. And so we're still early in that. So Brian, I'm optimistic, and I'm basically staking my career that AI is going to be more transformative than the internet. And I mean, that belief informs how I think about NVIDIA.
Okay, Courtney's got a question, but go on it. How can AI be more transformative than the internet, Gene, all due respect, when AI runs off the internet? So it's like, that's...
Good question.
The internet is this, and AI is layered on top of it. How can it be bigger than the thing it needs to exist? It's its host organism.
The internet was built on intelligence, was built on human intuition. It was built on intelligence. There was, and ultimately, that is what AI is solving for. Is it's intelligence at scale and at a speed that humans can't touch. And so that's why I think that intelligence came before the internet. And what is the value of basically commoditizing intelligence? And I think there's a high value there.
Now, Gene, we talk a lot about NVIDIA, and really it had been kind of almost a bellwether. Everybody's expecting if NVIDIA doesn't do well, the market's not going to do well this week, which clearly didn't happen. You're actually seeing the correlation with NVIDIA and the markets has been getting smaller over the last 2 years. And I'm curious what your thoughts are there. Like, let's say that we're wrong and this AI trade isn't going anywhere. Does that mean it's something negative for the stock markets, or can they continue to go higher even if that trade doesn't pan out?
I think the way this plays out is right now it's obviously it's a narrow market that's driven. The performance has been narrow. It's been related to AI and largely related to AI hardware. And I'm of the belief that this will impact margins. This is a well-traveled bull case for AI, is that ultimately every company is going to have AI as part of their fabric of their company, just like mobile and the internet is. And so if that's the case, I think we can see higher margins. I think that the rest of the market will get pulled up. If I'm wrong, I still think we're going to see leadership within AI, within some of these companies. It's hardware for the next couple of years. Then we're going to see the baton move over to software. We're going to see a class of new IPOs, probably in 2027. It's really exciting.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Let's see. July PCE inflation report due today. This was posted about an hour ago. Let's see what they got to say about it.
The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index for July will be released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Joining us now with more on inflation and the Fed's next move. Let's bring in Beth Ann Bovino. She's chief economist at U.S. Bank. It's great to see you.
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming in. The markets seem to be acting as if inflation is last year's story in some respects, and they want to kind of file it away as the mission accomplished the data point here. Is it fair to do that? Is there anything in this number today that you think could upset the current stance?
Well, I think what the factor is that the Fed has also seemed to indicate that they're confident with where inflation is going. It's stabilizing. That's positive. That said, let's keep an eye on what happens with core prices, excluding food and fuel, but also the supercore, excluding housing. Supercore, excluding housing, is still over twice what the Fed would like it to be. And seeing something unsettling there would certainly put the Fed on hold.
You think
They should not be able to type while people are talking. It is so annoying.
it would actually be enough to put it on hold? Because it feels as if we now are at a point where they're willing to look past a month-to-month variation in versus their expectations, right? I mean, their consensus view on where PCE and core PCE would be right now, at this point, it's kind of where the data are, right? So in other words, if they're saying we have clearance to go for a cut in September, I wonder just, exactly how high the bar is for changing that.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
Well, and also keep in mind, CPI and PPI came out, which is kind of gives you a little hint of what we can expect for today's numbers. They came actually a bit calmer than what markets expected. So that would suggest that the PCE readings and core PCE readings are also going to not disappoint. That said, the Fed has been pushing, basically saying, we're done, we're ready, we're good to go. If they move away from that, they're going to need something extreme in order to make that call.
And I mean, we are also going to get personal income and spending. So there's been this extreme sensitivity to any signs that the consumer is tiring. You see these pockets of weakness. We were talking about Dollar General just a little while ago. And then, the labor market, while it seems like it's moderating and it's softening in a benign way, there's those who are saying this is not good. Hiring is really falling away. So where's the economy on the consumer and labor side right now?
Well, that's a very good point. And one of the things that I've been saying is that this week, initial jobless claims and also the personal income report were sort of the opening acts, but the headliner is the jobs report next week. We're expecting, when we saw the last month's numbers, we thought markets had overreacted for several reasons. One, July is usually rather soft because it's a summer season. People aren't able to get the people in to even sign the contract. Also, that jump in the unemployment rate, I saw that as a good thing. It was a rebalancing. You saw people coming back to the workforce. If that was held constant, the unemployment rate would have been around 4%. That said, I think what markets and what the Fed needs to see is a rebound in those readings, because they do indicate that they're a bit nervous about the jobs numbers. We're expecting about 175,000. Could we see something a little higher? Sure, that would be okay. But if we saw something much lower, say under 100,000, that would really spark the Fed's interest and probably make them be a little bit more aggressive than maybe what markets and we are thinking right now.
What do you think markets suggest about the Fed's aggressiveness and their need to be more aggressive in terms of cuts? I ask because Treasuries are poised for their longest monthly winning streak in 3 years. Does that alter the market dynamic, if at all, for the Fed to cut 50 basis points versus 25 basis points if the market is kind of doing that job for them?
Well, that probably helps the Fed. But again, the Fed is focused on the economy, and their target is what matters to them the most. Right now, we're expecting 25, probably most likely 25 basis points from the Fed. Of course, only they know what will happen. But given that, as I said, the inflation reading seems to be coming into what they want to see, which is a calmer or more sustainable inflation reading. They seem to be more confident about that. What happens with the job market is going to be the final, kind of the final blow, I guess you could say, for when they move. And if they see calm numbers or numbers that are around maybe 175, maybe a little higher, that would give them reason to move. And we think about 25 basis points. Now, if you saw a much lower number, regardless of what market's doing, then they might need to be more aggressive.
All right, Mr. Crypto KJ, do you have to do that? Thank you so much. Almost forgot. Final day of the S19K profits. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate you. All right, the Chinese economy is heading for much bigger slowdown than we have today. Let's see what they got to say over here. Again, CNBC television. This was posted about an hour ago.
China Beige Book is out with its August data this morning. The analysis shows China's economy having a lackluster month with revenue, profit, hiring and wages all slowing down from a year ago. Joining us now with more on China's economic picture, China Beige Book COO Shahzad Qazi. Thank you for being here, Shahzad. So it sounds like a deteriorating picture in China based on your analysis. Where do you see the bottom? Is it anytime soon?
Yeah, look, I mean, August, we're looking at a mild slowdown in the economy. We have to remember that July and really this.
Thank you again for the super chat, DJ Screaming. Sorry. Appreciate you very much for that.
Summer was actually not as terrible as was widely understood. So when we think about the third quarter overall, we're still actually trending in the direction of a very, very modest recovery continuing in China. It's just not a very happy picture if you're looking for an equities rally.
Well, speaking of a happy picture, protests in China are actually on the rise as well, with the China Dissent Monitor at Freedom House reporting a rise in labor and homeowner-related dissent, up 18% in the second quarter. Do you think, given that sentiment on the ground there, that's more of an incitement for Beijing to respond with any kind of support measures here? Or do you think, kind of given the picture you outlined, that they will let things work themselves out?
You know, the housing rescue package is pretty modest, and what they're doing is slowly loosening all the restrictions that they had put into place. I don't see them taking the protests and responding to them right away by, much more aggressive loosening of a policy beyond what they've already done. Making homeowners, whole it should be a policy target, but Beijing really has not prioritized it as yet.
What powers do they have? I mean, you wonder, I guess they could severely try to devalue their currency. I don't see that working. What actually can they do given this demographic? I don't think catastrophe is too strong of a word. Do you, Shahzad?
There is nothing to be done if you're looking at the picture writ large. The Chinese economy is headed down for much more of a slowdown than we have today. We could be looking at an economy that doesn't grow, by the way, or grows at 1.5%. So I think the Communist Party understands that. They're not looking to, have blowout GDP numbers anymore. They're very much focused on taking the slow growth, strengthening the economy from a military standpoint, and saying, look, we're going to make ourselves the world's leading tech manufacturer, and we're going to make the world dependent on us. That's what they're trying to do now.
Jake Sullivan is, of course, wrapping up a trip to Beijing. What's the sense, given obviously the election as it comes into focus, that the Harris camp will continue on this path that the Biden administration has been trying to effectuate here in terms of stabilizing the relationship with the two countries, while trying to seek, obviously, U.S. interests as well, versus the Trump history, which has been a little bit more combative, shall we say?
Yeah, look, I think there's probably going to be more continuity than not from the Biden years. But the real problem right now is there is no Harris-China plan. And the personnel that are being talked about that may take leadership positions are not China experts. So they're going to have to really dig and get the right talent in place if they want to have any kind of sensible China policy. Because if they don't, not only is that a weak signal to Beijing, I think they will come under immense amount of criticism for the next 4 years by the Republicans.
What do you think that plan should look like then? Does it look more like the Trump plan with tariffs and a more aggressive kind of posturing, or do you think it's something closer to what Biden's been trying to do?
I think the first thing that they could go for is really figure out why is it that the export control regime just does not seem to be working the way it was intended, fixing that. There are lots of questions around restricting outbound investment, taking a look at that, working closer with Congress on things like de minimis rules, which relate to companies like Shein and Temu. So there's a whole bunch of stuff they could be doing short of just coming up with these aggressive across-the-board tariffs that, quite frankly, probably don't make much political or economic sense.
All right. Sorry, my kid came down and bombarded me. All right, so moving on. Bitcoin is gold with wings. Anthony Pompliano over here. This was posted about 14 hours ago. I think it's from Yahoo Finance, if I'm not mistaken, but it's on Anthony Pompliano's channel. Let's do it.
Bitcoin in the midst of 4 straight days of losses, with crypto becoming a major issue in this presidential election. Where can we expect the price to go from here? Joining us now for more is Anthony Pompliano, founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. Anthony, it is good to see you. So you look at Bitcoin here, we're down about roughly 5% in August. We've kind of been trading in this range, Anthony, roughly 50 to 70,000 for months. What do you think breaks us out of this range, Anthony? Would you be looking to a Fed cut in September? Is it election volatility? What's on your radar?
I think there's 3 main things that will break us out. First is time. People are away for the summer. We kind of go sideways historically over the summer. When people come back, they sit in front of their computers and they start buying assets. And so I think that Bitcoin will be beneficiary of that action. The second thing, obviously, is a Fed cut. As cheap capital comes into the market, you should see some of that capital flowing into risk assets like Bitcoin for people on Wall Street, and you'll see price kind of break out. And then the third thing is I do think that if former President Trump is reelected, there's a lot of folks who are kind of looking at him as the pro-Bitcoin or pro-crypto candidate, and I would expect Bitcoin to rally on his reelection as well.
What would change your view on that, Anthony? If we know, for example, that...
You know what, real quick, I'm going to put a poll in the chat just because it's funny when things get political in the chat. I'm going to put a poll, and I want to know if you guys think that the election's going to be rigged or not.
Harris and Walz have their first network interview this evening after announcing her campaign for presidency. What could she say in that interview that would make you think that she is the pro-crypto candidate?
I don't think anyone in the Bitcoin and crypto industry cares about words at this point. If you're sitting vice president, then you can do action, right? And I think that's really what people are looking for. And so if people believe that the current administration has been abrasive towards the industry, I think the most powerful thing that Vice President Harris could do is to start to take actions to support the industry, show rather than tell. And I think the same would be true if it was a Republican in office. You know, at this point in an election cycle, both candidates are going to say a lot of things, but the average voter really can only take those words as perceived empty promises. And so the advantage that Vice President Harris has is she can not just talk, she can act. And so if she was able to take, you know, one or two different actions that showed she was becoming more sympathetic and kind of pro-Bitcoin, pro-crypto, I think it would really help her election campaign.
Anthony, isn't that the SEC? Isn't that their purview?
I think that obviously regulators are a big piece of kind of what happens in the United States, but there's plenty of stuff that the president could do. Some of it could be via executive action. Some of it could just simply be coming out in support. You know, one of the things that I don't think people have given enough credit for to former President Trump is he actually held a meeting with Bitcoin miners, and he sat and he listened to them. And so, again, you know, it was behind closed doors. It was attached to a fundraiser. So there was definitely incentives for him to do it. But sitting in a room and listening to these people is pretty powerful. My understanding is that there was recently a private meeting of crypto executives and some congressmen and senators that were on the Democratic side, and they wanted to talk about crypto, but Vice President Harris didn't attend. And so, again, you know, obviously politicians are busy. They've got a lot of stuff going on. But I think part of action could just be showing up and listening. And so, you know, again, I do think that Vice President Harris has an advantage in that she's in a position to act, whereas former President Trump is kind of on the outside looking in. But let's see what happens. You know, we're still 2 months or so away from the election.
I'm curious, Anthony, when you're talking to friends and family, and maybe they're curious about investing in Bitcoin, what do you, and they're asking you why they should, what do you tell them, Anthony? What's the reason? Is it for the trade, store of value, medium of exchange? What's the reasoning?
Usually I just ask them, do you think the dollar is going to be worth more or less in the future? Almost no one I've met thinks that the dollar is going to be stronger in the future from a purchasing power standpoint. And so immediately they start to think, well, where can I go to get some sort of economic security for the hard-earned wealth that I've been able to accumulate? And you know, there's many assets that you can go buy. You can go buy gold, you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy real estate, you can buy stocks. And so each person's situation is different. But I do think that there is a cohort of people and a growing cohort, hundreds of millions of people around the world. They want something that is a store of value that leverages sound money principles. It's an asset that's outside of the legacy financial system. No one can create more of it. But also they don't want kind of the existing physical gold, which is simply kind of trading sideways. You know, gold just hit a new all-time high, but it's only up 50% since 2012. And so you can think of Bitcoin as gold with wings. It gives you that same downside protection, that same kind of purchase power protection, but it also has the asymmetry of an asset that is compounding over that same time period at about 62% compound annual growth rate for the last 10 years.
Gold with wings. I need that on a T-shirt, Anthony. That's good one. Let me ask you this. What about ETF adoption? Just switching gears a bit here. I'm curious to get your take on the launch. You know, flows have actually been relatively strong, Anthony, even when you see price declines. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people want access to this asset. You know, what's unique about Bitcoin is historically technologies are adopted by kind of militaries first, then countries, then corporations, and then individuals. Bitcoin has been the reverse of that. We have seen the individual adopt it first. Eventually, we got some corporations and financial institutions, and the promise is that we're eventually going to get, countries and militaries to participate as well. But I do think that right now, as we see those financial institutions, those corporations, and kind of larger family offices want to allocate to the asset, the ETFs provide a really low-cost liquid way to do that. And so they're going to continue to buy. Now, of course, prices go up and down based on buyers and sellers. And so there's more sellers than buyers, but that doesn't mean that the folks who want the ETF are going to, go away. It just means that there's more people selling than buying, and maybe they're selling in the spot market while these folks are going and buying the ETFs.
To what extent, Anthony, do you worry about government sellers of cryptocurrency? For example, we saw that this was a headwind for the price of Bitcoin when Germany was selling off their holdings a little bit. Is that something that investors should be looking at moving forward?
Imagine being able to tell your grandchildren that you bought Bitcoin sold from a government. That's what I think. And so if the governments are going to sell it, I think people are scrambling to be the ones to buy it. Historically, the Bitcoiners have usually talked about things like, hey, don't be the Bitcoiner that sells your Bitcoin to Wall Street. Don't be the Bitcoiner that sells your Bitcoin to a nation state. But now when these governments go and they are offloading Bitcoin, somebody's on the other side of that trade. And so while it's somewhat of a meme, it's somewhat of a kind of funny conversation, I do think that there's a lot of people who say, hey, if these organizations, these nation states have Bitcoin and they're going to sell it, I would love to be on the other side of that trade. And so, there's a persistent bid. Obviously, hundreds of millions of people around the world believe that these sound money principles in digital form are very valuable. There is a very strong holder base of Bitcoin. More than 50% of Bitcoin hasn't moved in over a year. And I think that this asset will continue to do that for the years to come.
All right. Anthony Pompliano, thanks so much for joining us. We always appreciate your insights. Thanks for coming back.
All right, shout out to Anthony Pomp for that. Yes, no, I do not own any NFTs. Crypto KJ said he doesn't buy NFTs. He just copy and paste them like everyone else. Yeah, I just don't understand the value of NFTs, to be honest. If it was like, a real use case, it'd be totally different. Medical records, things like that. But monkey pictures and Trump pictures that I could just get online for free. It's just, no. Nope. All right. Anyways, CNBC Crypto World. Bitcoin drifts back to 60,000. Trimming the week's losses. Let's see what they got to say over here. Let's do it.
Today, Bitcoin rebounds from a week of selling pressure. And Coinbase's head of machine learning breaks down how the crypto exchange uses AI to prepare for highly volatile markets.
Oh boy. Does he mean fake transactions in markets?
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Lindsay Jacobson. Digital currencies are bouncing back from losses earlier in the week. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin reclaimed the $60,000 level after falling as low as $57,000 yesterday. Ether is also high this morning, climbing back to $25.76. Solana, meanwhile, rising to $146. There were some signs that the crypto market was bracing for NVIDIA's earnings, and some investors were concerned the chipmaker wouldn't be able to live up to the hype and potentially push investors away from risk assets. Well, NVIDIA did drop better than expected earnings, reporting a 122% increase in revenue from a year earlier. But that's down from 3 straight periods of year-over-year growth exceeding 200%. So this latest quarter might not have met the sky-high expectations for some holding the stock. That being said, the chip maker's quarter seems to have been enough to soothe concerns that the market was headed sharply lower, which is good news for crypto investors too. All right, let's jump to our main story. Earlier this week, Coinbase announced a newly deployed machine learning model that helps the crypto exchange predict spikes in user traffic and prevent serious downtime during high volatility. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sagalis spoke to the company's head of machine learning, Rajarshi Gupta, about this launch.
Real quick, Mr. Nerd Things and More, thank you so much. And shout out to you and your channel. I'm glad it's doing well. He said, I'm the same with NFTs. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me.
So this week, your team announced that Coinbase has developed and deployed a machine learning model that's all about preventing downtime. Tell me more about the launch.
Sure. So, it's been pretty normal in the industry to look at load that's on the system and then scale up your CPUs up and down as things go. And this can be done because CPUs are very performant and they can quickly do this. Now, we have the problem that we need to do the same thing for our databases. And we really weren't able to find any solution out there that did the same thing for databases. So we ended up building our own machine learning model that kind of predicts ahead of time. And by ahead of time, I don't mean 15 minutes. I mean like hours ahead of time, that we think that the load in our system is going to go up because the volatility in crypto is increasing. And by doing that, and so sort of when we think the volatility is increasing, we are going to be able to pre-scale the databases to some level as needed, and such that we can manage it. And we've had it in production for a couple of months. And in the last, and when these, let's say these events of high load happen, we've been able to manage it and pre-scale. So we wrote about it in a blog.
We saw a lot of volatility overnight, a lot of price movements. And since you've been testing out this product in the last few months, have you noticed a significant difference in the way that the platform operates?
Do you think that's a clip-on tie, or is she better at tying ties than most of us?
Yeah, so I think, look, if you think about it, like what is the main purpose, right? So the main purpose is to make sure that our customers get the correct level of support that they need. But at the same time, we manage our costs, because we could obviously hold the databases high at a very, very high level all the time. That would ensure performance, but it would raise our costs. So this is the way of balancing those two things. And by using machine learning to pre-scale the databases, we are then able to manage our costs while ensuring that the customers get the right level of service.
Now, more broadly speaking, I know that the exchange has been leveraging AI to beef up security as well. And I'm wondering just how significant a role machine learning has played in both enhancing company security and efficiency for customers.
Crypto KJ just sent me an NFT. You son of a bitch.
Absolutely. So we've been using machine learning to protect our customers for many years now. So in fact, every single transaction that goes through our system is protected by machine learning models that tries to make sure that the transaction is indeed the correct, is indeed the right transaction versus it's talking to some risky business, whether your account has been taken over. I mean, to some level, you can think of it starts even as you log in, because as you are logging into the app, we have a model that tries to detect whether it's you or your account has been taken over by someone. So, I mean, these models run billions of times.
Now, you're Coinbase's head of machine learning, and it's a side of the business that we typically don't hear a lot about, but you've been leaning into Gen AI applications, machine learning more broadly for a while now. And on the Gen AI side of things, you've got your customer-facing conversational LLM-powered chatbot, which just launched in June. And I'm wondering if you can tell me more about how you're putting this tech to use, and what are some of the features that are maybe invisible to the customer, but hugely transformative to the end user and the way that your business operates?
Yeah, so I think, look, I mean, almost everyone in the tech industry has recognized the fact that Gen AI is a really, really powerful tool. But now, I would say the right analogy is that it's not enough having a powerful tool. You actually need to have the people who know how to use the tool. So that's where we have been leaning in, and I'm very proud of the fact that I have a very strong machine learning team that knows how to wield those tools. And one of the things we did, as you mentioned, is that in June, we launched our customer-facing chatbot. So every single one of our customer-facing conversations in US is now going through this LLM-powered chatbot. So in order to do that, you have to take care of several different things, right? So you have to make sure that there are appropriate guardrails in place to make sure that the LLM is protected and doesn't end up saying things that it shouldn't. We also need to make sure that it's performant. So you probably heard of the global GPU shortage. So we have to really work with our partners to make sure that we have the right bandwidth available to make sure that our customers get the low latency responses that you want. And naturally, we have to keep tuning and fine tuning the responses that we are getting and testing it continuously to make sure that we improve. So it's been a very exciting journey, and fingers crossed. We've been enjoying the experience.
Hold on, that guy just crossed.
Journey. And fingers crossed.
Oh no, he did do the first. All right.
We've been
I thought
enjoying
he crossed
the
the middle
experience.
fingers. I was like,
And
how
then the
hell
flip
did he
side
do
of that,
that?
how is blockchain technology enhancing machine learning applications and data integrity?
Yeah, so I think that's true. Most of the AI is a really powerful tool, and many applications that you see are for AI helping blockchain. But there's also the flip side of it, which is blockchain helping AI. And there's a couple of really interesting use cases. So, one, for example, is that blockchain is a way to make sure that provenance of anything is proven and is verifiable. So, protecting AI deepfakes from and making sure that what you are seeing is real and not fake is something that with blockchain you can easily manage. Another way is that distributed AI is something that people have been working on for many years. But in order to incentivize this, you need to have a systematic way of sharing payments across a large number of distributed nodes. And blockchain is the perfect underlying platform to achieve that. So these are just but two of these cases that that help blockchain for AI. I mean, in fact, back in May, we organized a research conference called Blockchain and AI, and where this was a big topic of discussion that we had about how AI can help blockchain and blockchain can help AI.
Last question for you.
Gundy Stuff and Things says, anyone see the issue adding AI to a payment platform? AI might be powerful. It is also widely erratic and unpredictable. Yeah, that really depends who's programming it for sure. Andrew Masad, you're not wrong.
For you, talk me through what's next. What's your vision for Coinbase's Gen AI and machine learning strategy in the next few months and in the next year?
Yeah, so I think if you look at it, I mean, in the next few months, it's of course we are doing many of these things and you're already hearing about them. In future, though, we basically feel that AI should be a helper to every employee and every customer of Coinbase. So we already have an employee assistant that is helping many of our employees in their day-to-day job, not just the engineers, not the ML people, but the finance people, the HR people, the legal people, and so on. But we also want to bring all that AI goodness to our customers and bring some sort of a helper so that the customers are able to utilize AI in their day-to-day transactions and their user journeys.
Awesome. DJ Death Star, thank you for being a member for 7 months, dude. He said, hey, jump in a minute, catching the stream live. Keep up the great work. Had to shut down at home for now. Hope to get back in. Yeah, dude, it's so hard to mine at home right now. Everything is just down, and it's unfortunate, but there's nothing you can do about it. I trust me, I get it. I feel you. All right, moving on to the videos of the day. Crypto holders, most people won't make it to 2025. I don't believe that. You're all strong people here, strong individuals. So we can definitely get through it, but let's see what he's got to say over here on Altcoin Daily. Let's do it.
In your research, you also write the 12-month outlook for Bitcoin is one of the most bullish you've seen.
Bitcoin is setting up for an incredibly bullish next 12 months. But before we get here...
You guys really think it's going to go to 250? I think it's very unlikely. I think we're lucky if we get 150.
First, let's talk about here. Before we get to the long term, we need to survive the short term. And Bitcoin is dropping hard. How low can Bitcoin go? Comment, how low do you think Bitcoin can go? Because Bitcoin dipped.
Actually, that's not a bad question. What do you guys think? How low could it go? How low do you think it's going to go right now before everything pops?
Below $60,000. This scared a lot of investors.
Yeah, that's what I think too, Mr. Fully Electric. He said 120K max this cycle, IMO, in his opinion, right? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, yeah, right around there as well. It's about a 2x.
A lot of Bitcoin holders. And I'll just give you my thoughts here. I'll be real with you. I am fully prepared, and I think it's very possible that Bitcoin hits $54,000 again. This would put us in the bottom of this range that we've been trading at for 6 months. We've hit this bottom range 1, 2, 3, 4 big times so far over the last...
Who taught him how to draw lines? Just cut through that one, just F it. Would have been more if he went like up here and then
last 6 months.
Whatever.
So if we hit this area again, it would not surprise me. It would be par for the course, a buying opportunity. And anytime we see blood in the streets like this, because it's happened a lot throughout Bitcoin's history, anytime we see blood on the streets like this, try to orient yourself and think about it like Bitwise's senior investment strategist thinks about it. A buying opportunity. Listen to this. He's buying. Bitwise is buying. Bitwise is telling their clients, buy.
You put out
Should all be buying. When there's blood in the streets, it's the best time to buy.
a note a couple of weeks ago arguing that history suggests to buy Bitcoin when there is blood on the streets.
I decided to look at every instance during the past 10 years when the S&P 500 dropped by 2% or more in a day, and then I compared it to the performance of both Bitcoin and gold over the following year. And what I found was that on average, gold returned 8% over those next 12 months, while Bitcoin returned 190%. So my takeaway for investors is that history tells you that the next time the stock market sells off, you're better off buying Bitcoin as a long-term portfolio hedge instead of gold.
And guess what? We could go lower than this. It's very possible we go lower. And if we go lower, to me, that would be a major buying opportunity. And I wouldn't think we'd stay there for long because eventually, in my opinion, we never touch this area again. And that's happened a lot throughout Bitcoin's history. If you're a believer, like me, I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm a believer in this asset class. And there's a lot of reason to think that in the next 12 months specifically, things are going to get insanely bullish. You realize this, right? If you don't, here Bitwise's senior investment strategist takes us through every single reason he expects Bitcoin's price to rise, and he actually gives a price prediction at the end. Most people will ignore this. You don't. Listen to everything he says here.
Gold is a mature asset. As a result of that, doesn't have that much long-term appreciation, whereas Bitcoin is still a nascent asset in its early adoption phase of institutional and global wider consumer adoption. And so it has strong store value properties, limited supply, and decreasing new issuance of Bitcoin. And so over the long term, it should perform as a great store of value. And I think that coupled with its growth properties, because it's an early adopted asset that is growing in acceptance around the world, I think those two characteristics are really powerful and make it a great long-term store of value for your wealth.
So obviously Bitcoin's going to go up in the future. I think we're all believers with this. Many people have been asking me though about altcoins. Guys, we are approaching one of the biggest altcoin cycles that you will ever see. Even analyst Ben...
Real quick, just reading the chat. Somebody said gold was ancient, Mr. Andrew Masad. Yeah, and you know what? So, I mean, the difference, obviously, between gold and Bitcoin, right? Like, you could always find more gold. Like, the earth is so thick. We've only drilled down, like, 8 miles or so into the earth, right? That's the furthest we've ever drilled down because it got too hot and it was melting the bits. So, realistically, you could just continue to dig and find more gold eventually, right?
Ben Cowan admitted this to me in our interview the other day. If you haven't watched our interview with Ben Cowan yet, it's really good. Watch it. I'm going to play you just a clip. Here Ben and I talk about what to expect with altcoins going forward.
I think we're getting to the final part of where Bitcoin outperforms, and I think next year you'll actually see altcoins outperform Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, Andrew Masada. It could be unlimited. We have no idea how much gold is still in the earth, right? But you're never going to find any Bitcoin if you drill down. It doesn't matter.
Wow. So it sounds like you're saying sometime in the next maybe 4 to 6 months is the best time ever to buy altcoins.
Well, in a more trying to think about how to say it. In a more risk-averse way to say it, I guess. You know, normally what happens with it, look, I think that, and I've said this before, right? I think that ETH Bitcoin is sort of the harbinger for the altcoin market, right? It tells you how healthy the altcoin market is, how healthy or unhealthy it is. And what I'm looking at right now as it relates to Ethereum, because I mean, there's no doubt about it that Ethereum has really underperformed Bitcoin for the last, 2.5 years. But
Mr. Rude Puts, thank you so much for the super chat. He gives me a bunch of party symbols. Friday, Hollow Gang, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
What I want to draw your attention to, and I think it's important to understand the altcoin market by looking at this metric. ETH has gone through this same pattern with Bitcoin 2 times before, where it sets a low, and after setting that low, it bounces to a double top and then comes back down and eventually breaks below that low. And you can see that it broke below it in November 2016, and then it broke below it in July of 2019. And then ETH Bitcoin then bottomed out within 1 to 2 months, right? So in 2016, it bottomed out 1 month later. in 2019, it bottomed out 2 months later.
And, altcoins really rallying hard. That makes sense to me. I mean, in 2025, after Bitcoin clearly breaks over its all-time highs, Arthur Hayes from BitMEX said recently that he thinks only after Bitcoin clears 70K and Ethereum reclaims 4K, we're going to see a massive alt season. And, I think we see that almost every cycle where Bitcoin breaks all-time highs. People who have been in the market for a while feel this wealth effect where it's like, well, I'm not getting the returns that I used to be getting with the higher caps. I'm going to put some of that money into lower caps. Plus, new people coming into the market are thinking, oh, I missed out on Bitcoin or Ethereum. I need to put it in the more degen plays. And you just get this massive alt cycle.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's honestly, it's pretty clear, right? I mean, your two last alt seasons were in the post-halving year, right? This is the Bitcoin dominance yearly candles, right? So if you're wanting alt season, you want to see Bitcoin dominance go down, right? The last time you had a big yearly candle where dominance went down was the post-halving year of 2021. The time before that was the post-halving year of 2017. So look, 3 green, 3 year. Basically what happens is that you're right. I mean, you basically said it. I don't really think I could say it any better. Essentially what happens is that people that were riding the Bitcoin train during tighter and tighter monetary policy, they know what's up with the crypto markets. But then when you get to the post-halving year and you get to looser monetary policy and all that good stuff, altcoins outperform. So then you get a lot of new retail investors that come into the market, right? You get a lot of new retail investors, and then those investors only ever see Bitcoin dominance go down. 2017 and 2021. So then when you get out to 2026 and 2027, those people are likely going to think that Bitcoin dominance will keep going down, but in reality, you're likely just going to see the same thing repeat.
Now is the time to get serious about your crypto awareness and crypto education. So subscribe. This is a continuing story, guys. So much has happened since 2025. You can always engage with us more personally.
I thought he was going to say something. I saw Charles Hodgkinson at the end.
Many people are posting on this app, so feel free to download it. It's free for posting in their regular. Please engage with us more personally.
Oh, this is he just posted something about the Cardano founder Charles Hodgkinson gone missing. I don't know what the hell the deal is with that. All right, I'm getting bombarded with kids. Let's get back into the recap segment of things, guys. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for that video. It was pretty good. All right, let's see. What do we got over here? Bitcoin, $59,727. Get Ethereum at $25.32. We have Solana, $140. ADA, Cardano at 35 cents. XRP at 56 cents. We have Near Protocol is actually dropping quite a bit today, 6.32% down, $4.19. Caspa is just under 17 at 16.85. We have, let's see, ETC at 18.62, LTC at 63.57, not too bad. Dogecoin at 10 cents. Honestly, guys, everything is still pretty fire sale-ish in my opinion. I'm gonna invest into something today. I just don't know what. I can't decide, either Cardano or Near I kind of want to get more of, or maybe Render, not sure. Between those three, what would you guys buy? Let me know in the chat. All right, let's see. Crypto bubbles, biggest loser on the day is still Floki, 17.4% down. Popcat's down 10.4. And this Dogs coin, the meme coin on the Ton network, is down 9.3%. Flashbang Fear and Greed Index is at a 34. It was the same last week. We need this thing to just kind of teeter back and forth, give us a strong base before we pop back off again. But guys, that's gonna do it. That's it for Friday. It's payday. How excited are you? And always, I gotta leave you guys with this. So hopefully you guys have a safe and happy Friday. And if you're gonna spend all your money in one place, spend it on the blockchain. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Happy Friday. And don't forget,
if she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her.
Perfect. Yeah, I wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hold her till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hold her till I can't no more. I got my crypto coming back soon. I'm back in the black. Suck here in the bag, now I'm feeling like a tycoon. Riding on a Lambo, you can live with FOMO. I've been through the dips, when it's low, I was buying more. Now I got my money on the blockchain. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Can't nobody stop my campaign. Hodl gang. like the big boys. Ride it to the moon on my Lambo or my Rolls Royce. Now I got these altcoins, they don't make the big noise, but they make the big rips. Call me crypto cowboy. Now I got my money on the blockchain. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Can't nobody stop my campaign. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Yeah, wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hodl till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hodl till I can't no more.
Eat shit, Gary.
Backyard garage, solar powered area. Spent a lot of money trying to mine that Ethereum. Boy, I got a habit, I'ma bounce right back. And I'm addicted, I become a cryptomaniac. You see, I got no stocks and I got no gold. I'm all in, all I do is I buy crypto. Wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hodl till I can't no more. Wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hodl till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hodl till I can't no more.
Have a safe and happy Friday. I'll catch you guys tomorrow night. Peace, peace.